Hi everybody, this is Sean with our DIY homesteading, and this morning we are out bright and early because in North Texas it is hot right now. We haven't seen below 100 degrees since the beginning of June, and the garden is kind of suffering. We've basically torn everything out except for the tomatoes that are still maturing and getting red, and we've got some sweet potatoes and some watermelon growing. But other than that, everything else is shutting down except for the herbs, and they're even struggling a little bit. So what I'm going to do this morning is I'm going to come through and harvest probably the last of the herbs for the summer. We'll probably get another round in fall, because what everything will do is die down, and then here in Texas we'll have a nice fall, and I'll get another growth spurt from them. But this morning we are going to be doing peppermint, and I just wanted to share that with you, show you how I've got it grown. I've got it spread throughout the garden in a couple of different places in planters. As you probably know, peppermint loves to be a bully and try to take over the garden, and so I keep it in containers. So let me show you what this peppermint bed looks like here. Okay, this is the peppermint bed that's in our garden area, and as you can see, she's looking kind of leggy, um, and just needs a good haircut, and that's what we're going to do this morning. uh, Trim her down, and then we will take her into the house, and I'll show you how I prepare her. What I have planned for this peppermint is I'm going to dehydrate it, and make it ready for tea. I drink peppermint tea all year round, from cold with ice cubes in the summer to hot tea in the winter. So I love to have a lot of peppermint. This is the most established bed of it that I have. We started some peppermint this spring, and she's struggling with the weather. I'll show you her before we go in, but for now I'm going to just give this one a good haircut. Now most of the time, let me see if I can show you good here on the camera. What we'll do is we will take it, and when I cut it, I'll cut it above the leaves, a leaf section. I'm having a hard time here. And that will promote growth. Um, Today, honestly, what I'm probably going to do is just give her a really good haircut, and cut her short so she's ready for the fall weather. But I'll check back with you here and show you what she looks like when I'm done. Okay guys, I wanted to show you the struggling peppermint planter that I was telling you about earlier, and you can really see that, it's struggling now. Like I said, we've had a month of 100-degree days, so even though it gets watered every evening, it's just really struggling. And one of the reasons is because it's brand new. I just started this bed this spring, and so I've harvested off of it once, but that's all. And just trying to let her establish herself. I'm not worried that she's gonna die off totally. Like I said, it'll get really hot here for another month. Through the month of August, we have to endure this 100-degree weather, and then it will cool down, into the 70s and 80s, and that's when it will flush back out again. And I probably won't harvest from her again unless she really gets better looking. I'll just let her establish herself over the winter, and then come spring, she'll really be full and ready to go. But I just wanted to show you that even if your peppermint looks sad, don't give up on it. Peppermint is a very determined plant, and if there is a will, there is a way for her to survive. So again, we're going to head into the house. I'm going to show you how I prepare this peppermint for the dehydrator. Not much. I just throw it in the sink and let me get all the bugs off of it, and then we'll put it in the dehydrator. So I'll talk to you when we get into the house. Talk soon. Okay, so I'm back in the house. I've cut all of my peppermint out in the garden. I'm back in the house, and I'm going to show you what I do with it. It's super simple, but sometimes it's just nice to kind of hear people walk through this step. So the very first thing I do here, let me try to turn this camera around. And then I'm just going to bring it over, and I'm going to let it drain for a little bit as I get ready for it over at the dehydration station, which I'll show you here in just a minute. Let me get all the peppermint out. And it smells so good right now. I just got done cutting it and playing with it. The fragrance is wonderful. So what I'll do next is I'll come over to my dehydrator, and you can see all the things I worked on this summer. Here's my last peppermint from the garden, and I just put it in the dehydrator, and then I store it in glass jars. So I will take you over to how I put it on the shelves of the dehydrator. Okay, so we're back here at the table now, and I'm going to show you how I strip the peppermint plant. If we took it and we did it leaf by leaf by leaf by leaf, it would take us all day. So a little tip is to hold it by the top and take these two fingers and make a pinching motion and just run it down the stem, and you can pull the leaves off of your main stem, and that will strip it and make it go much faster. Now, if you just like, I don't have the time or the patience, which I totally understand, to do that, you can just lay your stems down. You don't have to strip it off of the main stem if you don't want to. It will dry just like this very easily. It'll just take a little bit more time, but that's okay. Just whatever works best for you. Like if you've got a baseball game to run to this afternoon, you just want to throw them on the tray and let them run until you get home, do that, instead of just leaving it and forgetting them. Just do what you need to do to make it work for you. For me, I like to have it off the stem when it's dried. That way, all I have to do is put it in the jar that I showed you earlier, and it's stored. It's done, so I don't have to worry about it. So you have to just decide which side of the hydrating time you want to spend stripping it. Now, if you don't want to strip it at all, you should be able to put it in a coffee grinder or something and grind it into chunks, and that might work. I have never done that, but I've heard about it. I don't know how much flavor is in a stem. So, because what I use it for tea, that like I told you, I drink peppermint tea year round, and I really like the flavor to be punched up. I have a blend that I use for my peppermint tea. And speaking of that, if you want to know, this is the week of peppermint for me over on the blog on rdiyhomestead.com. You can look at the blog, and I have a blog up about peppermint, how it's the gateway herb, because it's so easy to grow, and I love it so much. And if you have any type of livestock like chickens, it's healthy and nutritious for chickens. Pests don't like the smell of it, so it'll chase a lot of pests out from around your home. If you don't want to have like a plant of peppermint in the house. You can do peppermint oils, you know, so there's just so many uses for peppermint. So go over to rdiyhomestead.com, check out the blog. You can also, if you don't want to make some tea, I've got some tea for sale over there that you can order, and I'll be happy to ship it right out to you. So thanks so much for hanging out with me this morning. I'm going to go ahead and pull all my my peppermint plant stems and get the leaves on and get them drying. Uh, as far as drying it with the stems off, it'll probably take, 3 to 6 hours, just depending on how wet your plant is, how much moisture is in your plant. So it's really easy. Just if you're not really sure, Google it or just check on it every hour and see where you're at. And you just want it so you can crunch them. Um, Hold on a moment. Let me go get my peppermint and I'll show you. Okay, I'm back. And so this is what my peppermint looks like. It's very crunchy. You can see that I can crunch it up. And so that's the consistency you want, is where you can crunch the leaves when it's done, from taking it to this wet leaf to the crunchiness is what you want. So, okay, anyways, I hope this helped you in some way. Feel free to leave any comments, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.